Hello everybody. Give me a couple of minutes here, a couple of seconds to get things set up. I'm a little bit late. Alrighty. I'm just going to wait till people come in. Hello everybody. Alright, I'm just getting set up here. Take your time. Thanks for joining. Just going to give it a couple more seconds here before we start. Now we're going to be doing this guy. Alright, so hello everyone. Welcome back to the Carver's Wood Shop once again. And this is a live broadcast on Facebook. Hello Paula Ann. Hello George. I only see a couple of people at a time when it scrolls, so if you have a question and I miss it, well, I can't help that because I can only see so much of it at a time. Hello. So we're going to do the panda bear with the heart. Now, I just want to share a couple things with you. I had one, I'll be right back. Let me run to my printer in the other room and pick up that photo. I'll be right back. I'm on my way back now. Alright, thanks for being patient. On this picture, I know that's a pretty big picture, but on that picture that I gave you, I have a picture of a bear with a heart as well. So, it's the same thing as what we did the other time with the honey bear, but we're going to just put a heart in the center, and we'll make it into a panda bear because we did his feet and everything the same way. So let's get started on our little project. What you want to start with is a 1.5 by 1.5 by 2.5 inches high piece of basswood. This is from the ornament series that we've been working on all along. So I'm going to do some measuring off of this because it's been a while since I've done any of it. So I'm just going to get some highlights here a little bit. And usually I try to figure out where his face goes first. Okay, his ears will come out of the corner. Alright, we'll figure that out when we get to it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the line around where his head's going to be. So I would say it's not quite halfway down the block, but it's fairly... hello, Warren. It's not real. We're going to work from the corner as we always do. And hang on just a second. I got to get some of this wiring out of my way here. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go about, not quite all the way down. I would say probably an inch and an inch and an eighth or so, maybe an inch or so down. Your marking there. You're going to just kind of lean your finger against it, and then you're going to go straight across. Thought I had a better pencil than this, but this is what I have for now. Okay, and when you do this, it should match up by the time you get around the block here. Perfect. So I always measure by holding my finger against it as a little way of measuring. All right. So once we have that done, the next thing we're going to do is, I guess his head's up a little further than I like, but we're going to bring this down just a tiny bit. I'm sorry. let's redo this line. About another eighth of an inch or so down. You're going to need a good sharp knife. Don't forget to put your glove on and stuff if you've got a glove or thumb guards. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend wearing the glove. Again, the glove doesn't help you from stabbing yourself, but it certainly helps you from other cuts, from slicing. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to push, and I'm going to do a little V cut right here. A little V cut right there. All right. Now you don't want to go up too high because his snout comes out of here. So you want to just kind of go across and just put a nice little cut. Same. And there you go. Alright. And then you're going to take your V-tool and you're going to follow that bottom line. This line was the wrong line, so we're going to go with the bottom line here. Now we're just going to match all four sides together. Now you can make this into a panda bear, or you can just make it into a plain bear. It's up to you. It's going to be exactly the same. It's just like our birds that we did earlier. You can take the same pattern and make a few different things, you know. Now you're going to be able to, like the birds, we could take a pattern there and pretty well do two of each kind of the birds. The cardinal and the blue jay. So the same thing with this. We can do a couple of different ones. So the next thing we're going to do is, if this is the front, we're going to figure out, now I like a little smaller snout and to have it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to measure this one out a little bit here. And it's probably going to give you about a ½ inch from the top. Alright, ½ inch at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put a little notch right there. Okay? Make sure that's a little high. Let's go down a little bit further. There we go. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take, I'm going to sharpen this pencil just for a second here, because it is annoying me. It's not working correctly, or it's not sharpened right. So you don't want somebody who's annoyed with a knife. So I'm only kidding. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of flare this out. We're going to kind of measure one there, again with our finger. I'm leaning it up against again, right? So, and there. Alright, that gives us a kind of an idea where to go. We're going to flare this out a little bit, just like so, and like so. Alright. You're going to do like a C. Alright, like the letter C. And the same thing over here. Alright, so that doesn't look quite big enough to me, but it will be, because this is going to be trimmed down a little bit as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go right in here and we're going to start cutting it out. Hello, Jim and Beth. Alright, we're going to bring this down. As we're working on this little bear, I only have two things for, thinking of something else for next week yet, so just give me some time this week to figure it out, and we'll see if we come up with another thing for Valentine's. The bears will be for sale. These are the ones that I have for sale in my shop. And if you're interested, I'll have those posted later on my website, my online store. This will later go on to YouTube, so if you miss anything here, you can pick it up again. So when we're doing this, I'm going to go on the outside of this, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, okay? Just a tiny bit bigger. I just like it nice and fat. All right? It seems like I'm doing double lines today. So the next thing you want to do is you want to take your knife, and you see how this is the top of the nose area here, okay? We've got a ways to go yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the knife just like we do with the nose on the Santas. We're going to go straight in, all right? We're not going to go this way. We're going to go straight in as we're looking at it from the front. So we're going to take this, and we're just going to go around, and we're going to just slice that little piece out. I should have done that a little further out, but that's okay. And the same thing over here. You're just going to take it, and you're going to just go up and around. And you're going to slice that portion out with the tip of your knife. Okay, now here you're going to do a little bit of digging down straight in. All right, especially up here, you're going to go pretty well straight in. We'll worry about rounding that off later for the mouth. All right, so that's what we have right now. All right, so now the other thing we're going to do, we're going to bring this down just a little bit more. We're going to round off these corners just a tiny bit. We'll get to them again here in a little bit. You don't want to go down too far. You don't want to start down here. You want to kind of keep this kind of tight up here. All right. All right. So we did that. We did this, and we did that. Okay. So now we're going to go over here, and we're going to do the same thing back over here. All right. And we're going to go a little bit deeper. Now we have these lines here, so what we're going to do is we're going to connect these lines. We're going to put another stop cut in. We're going to go from the top, and we're going to do one side. We're going to make those deeper. The nice thing about the V-tool, it gives you some kind of guidance, okay? It's, it's just a little bit of guidance. So it just helps you make that center line so much easier than doing it all just with a knife. I'm really enjoying the V-tool. There's so much you can do with that, Because later on we're going to put all the little hair on it, the fur, not the hair, the fur. And we're going to just go on either side. We're going to take that out. All right, I hope everybody's had a good week. I'm not going to mention anything that happened this week. It's just not... there's so many opinions and things of what happened this past week. It's just... the only word I can use is the word sad. And that's about it. Alright, so that's what we have there. Now we're going to round this off a little bit here. We're just going to start bringing this down for the head. Alright, just like so. And we're going to do the back side as well. Let me take the other knife. Where is the other knife? Here it is. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Be happy to try to answer it if I can see it, because I only see two names at a time. Right now I see Jim and Sharon right now. A little bit of hot chocolate. All right. Here's my other knife. Now we're going to bring this down and around a little bit. So I'll try to catch those questions. If not, you can always ask me later. Get the shape of the head going a little bit. All right. Bears are a real popular thing. So now, what are we going to do for the ears? All right. Most of the ears, if you look, they kind of follow. They go straight across. And they're cut out a little bit. So, you're welcome, Tony. Thank you. Yes, you can use a 2x2x4 as long as it's square. As long as it's square, you can use whatever size you want. Let me just show you something since you brought that up. Here's one of my holiday bears where I add the little pieces to it. That I do have that on DVD, and I also have that on YouTube. And you can put little things, like I put little flags in here, or I put, I have several different ones for Christmas and things like that, and patriotic days. But this is a 3.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. So you can make them taller, you can make them shorter. It's just going to make your arms a little bit different. Alright, so let's go with this, and let's start with putting in the ears. Now, how do we put the ears in? We're going to mark this like so, okay? And we're just going to cut in, because it looks like what I did here, it's not one, I didn't go straight across. I took it a little bit at an angle. So let's go back here, and we're just going to go about 1/8 of an inch or more, and we're just going to cut in like this, straight down. You're welcome, Alvin. Alright, so let's just cut that out, and there's where our ear starts. We'll do the same thing over here. We're just going to go in, and pretty well parallel with this, but I like to put it down quite a bit, and then we're just going to slowly start working our way down on that ear. And you'll see what we come up with here in a second here. We're making it a little bit of a turn here, okay? The beauties of doing these blocks, like I said, you can make it any size you want. There is no right or wrong way of doing it, as long as it's square. Thank you. Sorry about that. And so we have the head already kind of popped out, but we're going to bring this a little bit deeper, because I like to just make that snout pop out a little further, okay? So we're going to recut that a little bit, and we're going to just keep trimming this out. There we go. Okay, so we have definitely a more space now. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll do a mouse somewhere in the future. Not right away. The mouse with the cheese that you saw. I haven't done one of those online yet, so that would be kind of interesting. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit again as well. So we're just going to cut that out. Yep. Let's bring it down a little bit more. And, you know, it just takes a little bit of time getting this all down where you want it to be. Alright, now I'm going to go down a little further on these ears, just a tiny bit more. I'm just going to bring this over and kind of round it to that ear. Alright. Same time, I'm going to clean off all this rough stuff on the top. And a little bit on those ears too. But those ears, you don't want to do too much of those ears right away. We can always come back to them and there we go. So what we're doing, we're just rounding off the face right now. Okay, we have it going down this way, and bears are so popular. They really are. I don't know how many of those holiday bears I sold over time, but quite a few. So, okay, let's bring this down a little bit more. Let's start rounding that off. Now, where the ears kind of go in a little bit, and this is going to be, you don't have a lot of room to work here. So, what you want to do is kind of measure that if you want, and go down. Try to do it the same on both sides. Right there. Okay? And you're going to do the same thing up here. You're going to try to measure the same size, same distance. I got a tickle in my throat. Sorry, folks. Anyway, so what we're going to do here, this is going to be the bottom part of the ear. So we're going to just put a little, from where I have it, I'm going to just put a little notch, just like so. Just like that, okay? Same thing over here. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring this down a little bit more. And we're going to do the same thing with the notch at the top. And we're going to go straight across the head there, okay? And you really need to have a good sharp knife to do that. Alright? And the same thing over here. You're going to go straight across. That should be a little bit deeper. Let me do that again here. And you're going against the grain here, so that makes it a little bit more tough, okay? Don't worry about it. Just take your time with it. I'm trying to work as being on camera, but you certainly take your time with it. There's no fast way of doing this. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to round off the ear a little bit. There and there. Okay, and a little bit here. And we're going to shape that ear in a second here. And you're just going to take that little point off. Okay. Take that little point off. Bring this down. And so technically that ear should look a little bit rounded. Alright. A lot more rounded than that. But we're just going to take it kind of slow because you don't have a lot of room here, folks, to work. So you're going to just try to be careful you don't knock it completely off. Now, we're going to keep trimming this down a little bit more. We're going to trim this up a little bit more around the ear. Just, just keep fussing with it a little bit. And I'm going to take all this off here. Alright. I'll take a little more off the top. You can fuss with this for a long time if you want to. I try to do things that you can do in a few hours, or a couple of hours at least, to cut it out. People ask me how long does it take. Well, it all depends how much time I put into. Let me bring this down a little bit here. Let me get rid of that little hard edge there. You want to get rid of that. Alright, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. Alright, I'm trying to get the head to be rounded. Alright, so if you have a question you can ask, but I only see a couple of names at a time scrolling on the page. Right now I see Daniel and Bobby are the last two names I see on there. So, alright, so we're going to go right across. Alright. Now you're going to take all this rough stuff off. You want to get rid of that. Alright. Same thing over here. You want to get all that rough stuff off. And we'll define this neckline a little bit later again. Because what we're trying to do is just round things up a little bit. Alright, so I kind of am happy with that, so I'm not too happy with this side yet. So let me bring this down just a little bit more and bring this corner in further. A lot of this type of carving, it's doing it deep enough to give it the illusion that it's more rounded than it truly is. Alright? So if I put it against, it's pretty even, except for here. The hardest part is to get both ears the same size, the eye is the same size, and all that good stuff. So, I plan being here next Tuesday. We'll see what transpires from that. Okay? I'm going to try to get another. I'm going to take this back here just to look at it for a second. because it's hard for me to see it way far away like that. Okay, now right here we're going to just do a little sweep. Scoop that out a little bit, just like that. Okay, same thing over here, you're just going to scoop it out. Alright, and let me take a look how I did this. Okay, so we're just going to bring this up, and we're going to round off the ears a little bit from the back. Alright, and take this, and we're just going to round it off a little bit. Make it round. Just round it off. Take the edges off. Alright. And over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just take those round edges off. You know, just kind of have it flowing there a little bit. Alright. And then here, we're going to round it off as well, a little bit more on the back. I wonder if Jack and Jenny are here. Nobody from Canada today? I'm surprised. Didn't see my family pop in yet today. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now we have this pretty well rounded. We're going to start rounding off his snout a little bit. So how do we do that? I can show you better on one of these. See how we have the nose there? It's going to be a little different. So what we want to do is we want to find out where the bottom of the nose is going to be. So let's just put a little upside down Y. Alright? Well, welcome Marianne. Thanks for joining for the first time. Appreciate you coming. Okay, so actually what I do here, I'm sorry, let's not, hey Justin, where's your folks at? I don't see them out here today. Oh, okay, gotcha. Alright, hello everybody. I know Canada is in lockdown in Ontario. I'm going to take this thing. So the first thing you want to do is you want to just do a V cut. Just like so. And up. Just like so. Okay? Alright, then we're going to round this off on the bottom a little bit. We're going to kind of take all that rough stuff off. And kind of round it up a little bit. And we're going to round it off here a little bit as well. Round his face off. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that little point off and I'm going to just bring it back. Round it off a little bit, just like so. Alright? So this is where it gets kind of interesting when you do the nose. Actually, right here is the bottom portion. Hello, Jack. And Jenny. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line down like this, and I'm going to go like a upside down Y. See that little Y there? Okay. And we're going to take the little V tool. That's the easiest way to do it. I'm going to go right up through the center, right up to the nose, just like so. Right? Just stop. Take your knife, and you're going to just go straight down and in. See? That's our little nose right there. And we're starting on the nose. So then down here, you want to turn it around and take your little V tool, and you're going to go over that way. All right. Hello, John from Australia. Very cool. Oh, you gotta love social media for some things. Alright. Right here, I just did those two sides there. Okay, I'm gonna push my knife in on both sides of that V. and I'm going to pop out a little mouth there, just like so. Okay, it doesn't take a lot to, yeah, Tony, the V-tool is a very critical piece of not machinery, but a tool that is so valuable in so many ways. You know, you can do a lot of things with it. So let's just bring this up just a tiny bit, and let's continue with that and cut that out. So we have his little mouth in there now. Okay. Now, how do you finish off the rest of his nose? Well, let me take a look here. We have to go a little deeper here. Let's just clean this up a little bit. Let me just do one last swipe over the top here, okay? Because I want to make sure we have enough. Okay, there we go. That's what I like. All right, so we're going to round this off a little bit here. A little bit there. Yes, Marianne, I have them. I think they're $22.50 shipped and delivered in the U.S. only. I can't ship to Canada. It's too expensive. But I'm sure there's houses up there that, or stores up there that carry it. So what we're going to do here with the V-tool is we're going to put a little line at the top. I mean, with the nose, we're going to put a little line at the top. And we're going to bring that around just like so. Okay, I like a line. I always like a big nose, big eyes, big feet. You know, it always is that cute. Okay, we're going to be hello. There it is. It has stops once in a while. I don't know how wide does that. I'm going to take my V-tool again, and I'm just going to go very lightly with the corner of that V-tool. And we're going to just follow that all the way around across the top of the nose. All right, and then we're going to come from the other side. There we go. All right, so there's your nose. All right, see it? That is cool. Now, if you want to make it more distinct, you can follow it again with your knife, just where that V-tool was, and yeah, I just want to share with you, I have plenty of the V-tool. I'm running out of the, I only ordered a certain limited amount of the little gouges that are similar to the V-tool. So if you're looking for one of those, I'm just going to cut out a little bit here, just make it a little more distinct. But if you just want to do the V-tool, that's fine. 'Cause I want that nose to pop out a little bit more. All right, there we go. All right, so right here, we're going to just bring this down a little bit more. And actually, I put a couple of nostrils in. Now, I'm going to tell you, let's see if I have one of those tools here. Bear with me just a minute, and let me see if I have that little V-tool. Not the V-tool, but I don't know if this is going to be small enough. It should be. But if you want to put a little nostril in it, you can. And you can just take a little rounded thing here, and all you need to do is do one little side and one little side. You're going to, okay, now I'm going to pop that out with the knife. Okay, there's one nostril. And there's the other nostril. Now, if you don't have that, you can always just use your knife to do it. It's a little bit off, so I'm going to take my little V-tool, my little gouge again. And this is okay? I'm trying to get it even. That's the hard part sometimes. All right, so he's got little nostrils on that. And we're going to leave it the way it is. Now, we'll do the eyes a little bit later, but let's get going on the body part, which isn't too difficult. It's kind of hard to see this in the black because I make, you know, the things are a little bit different. So we're going to just show you on this one. the first thing we're going to draw on here is where he's holding the heart. All right. So you can make this a brown bear or a panda bear. It's totally up to you. It's just how you're going to paint it. That's all. All right. So let me see here. So when I do the heart, it's really right underneath the neck. Okay, it's right underneath. So let me round this off just a bit to get this started. Just like so. And then I'm going to bring this down to here. All right, just a little bit. All right, we're going to worry about the arms and stuff in a little bit here. And then we're going to put the little V right underneath his mouth. There. Now that's going to be a little hard to pull out, but it will work out just fine. And then you're going to bring the heart out and around. All right. Out and around. Now I'm going to measure that with my finger so we have pretty well the same distance out. All right, there we go. All right, so you can make that a little bit wider if you want. I'm going to make that just a tiny bit wider. Sometimes I redo my lines, as you can tell tonight. I've done a lot of that. But, and I try to put that V right underneath his mouth there. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out where his feet are going to go. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The feet have to go in first. Okay, so let's just do that first. Okay, one there. Again, I'm measuring with my finger. One there. Let's do it as high. There we go. There we go. And we're going to just make a foot here. All right. And then we're going to redo this thing. I should have done this one first. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get ahead of myself here. And it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I don't... Let me measure something here. Perfect. All right, so you can leave this the way it is if you want, but usually you can bring this out a little bit more, and I'm going to bring this out. Let me get rid of the lines, start it over again. This is the problem when I do things live. It doesn't always come out exactly as I want it to come out. And I can't do a do-over either, so. And I don't have a good eraser. And you don't want to use an eraser on this, simply because if you do, it leaves a residue behind. You can get erasers that don't leave a residue, but... Alright, so we're going to leave that little V thing there. We're going to make this much bigger. No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. There we go. So we're not going to see the point of it. Okay. It's a big heart. And there's a big heart. So now we got to figure out where his hands are going to go here. Because he's holding on to it, right? So this is going to be... And we're going just to bring this up. And we're just going to take part of that. Okay, just like so. Same thing over here. Alright, so what you want to do is just bring this across a little further. And actually, we're going to do the feet. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the feet. So again, I'll take my little V tool. Actually, I'm going to notch this out, and this should really go out further. See how nice and round that one is? This is the hard part of this whole thing. It's getting this thing exactly the same. So we're going to chop this out right here. This is like where his foot starts. All right? Hello, Linda. And right here too, you know, his arm comes out. And we have to think about the back side of his arm. Not a whole lot, not really, because it's so short that we don't really have to do anything else to the back of it. So we're just going to bring this down, and we're going to just take that little notch out, just like so. All right. Now I'm going to take the tool, and we're going to go around. All right, and we're going to go around this way too. See all the uses I use a V-tool for, and boy, nothing's nicer than having a nice sharp V-tool. I'm telling you, it's just awesome. All right, the next thing I'm going to do with the V-tool is I'm going to mark out his arms and his paw right here. All right, just like so. See where we're going here, right? So, and the same thing over here. You're just, hang on just a second. Something fell over here. I gotta just get rid of it. All right. Now, we're gonna do the other claw or paw, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And we'll figure this out. You know, we'll come around and we'll clean things up. And then we're gonna do the bottom part of the heart there, and then we have this portion. Now that's kind of tricky. What I like to do there is I just like to take the knife, go in one way, go straight in the other way, and just pop it out a little bit. Just slowly just take a little bit of it out. You don't have to take gobs of it out, just a little bit. A 2-inch block is fine. Somebody asked if they usually use a 2-inch block. As long as the block is the same width, you know, when you're looking at it on the end grain itself, as long as it's the same width, it's fine. And then just make it a bit taller. So this is 1.5 by 1.5 by 2.5. So you can go 3.5 if you want and have something taller like this guy here, you know, and then you can add things. This is the holiday bear I did a number of years ago, and that's online too, how to do it. But hello, thank you for joining us in Missouri. So you know, it all depends. You can make it any size. I've done a large one. You can make them skinnier, you can make them chubbier and fatter. If you had a 2.5 by 2.5 and a 3-inch, that would make a real chubby looking a real chubby looking bear. So yes, and that's the beauty of doing these blocks. There's no restraints of exactly, there's no you have it this size or that size. It's whatever you want to do. And then it becomes something different again. Okay, so there's our little V cut in there, and that is a little difficult to get to, so you really want a sharp little knife to get in there and do that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to slice this out right there next to the foot. All right, just like so. Hello from Pine Grove, PA. Boy, you're real close by compared to some people. All right. Well, this week I've been working on, I'm just going to go around here on the farm here. I've been thinking of putting I'm moving my, the fence line in the field, and so I'm in the process of doing that on my own, and we'll see how far I get and what shape I'll be in when I'm done. It's going to take me a while. All right, so that's 1 foot there, and let's do the next one. Let's round that up a little bit. Let's make that a little bit deeper. Now, what am I thinking here? I'm thinking, what is in front of what? Now, this is the part of the thing. This is a lot like doing relief carving. When you look at a relief carving, there's usually things in front of things. So, what do I mean by that? This is behind the paw. The paw is behind the foot. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting this way to make this pop out more. The foot's kind of the first thing that sticks out, or the illusion of it. And then it's your arm, and then it's your heart, okay? So, and the same thing over here. You're going to see how this looks like it's supposed to be behind the foot. So that's what relief carving is, and that's not making it realistically like that. You're giving it the illusion of that. All right, so it's the same thing when I did the pot and the bear, the honey pot and the bear. This looks like it's out in front of here holding the pot, and then again, this is the arm is behind the foot. So that's the illusion we're giving it here. So let me continue on with this. And so here is the heart. So we're going to cut this out a little bit more, and we're going to kind of put this underneath here, just like that. That's all you got to do. There's not a whole lot you have to cut to get that illusion. So, you know, you think you got to hack a lot of it off, you don't. Now here, I'm going to make that a little bit deeper, right there in that corner. All right, because I want that thing to pop out a little bit, the paw, or the foot, or whatever you want to call it. All right, and then this comes down, and we're just going to kind of take all that rough stuff off. All right, so here we are. We're going to go here, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to pop out a little bit. All right, so that gives the heart a little bit of shape at the same time. All right, and we can bring this down a little bit more. Bring this down. You can bring this down a little bit more, but we're not going to see the point on this one. I don't know if I did the point on all of them. No, not really. I didn't. It gives you the illusion that there's a point, but there's not really one there, okay? So we're going to just take all this rough stuff off. And let's see, we're just going to bring this up and around a little bit more. And when you go to paint it, to make that stand out, you're going to paint that a little black or a little brown right in that area, okay? If you can't get it to cut out correctly, then just paint it. You know, it's, you know, do the best you can to try to get some of it out. Now, you can use a little tool like I have here, and you can go in there and clean it up a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier. But in here, too, we're going to see where this meets with the face, right here and here. We're going to cut that out a little bit because we want that to pop out a little bit more. See? See the difference between that and that? See the difference? That's all you need to do sometimes to make it pop out. So a lot of it's just making cuts that are a little different and you can pop out there. That's all. All right, there we go. All right, so we have a nice looking face here, I think. You know, we'll keep going at it. Now back here, I'm going to start rounding it off a little bit more. Now, the hands, I'm going to try to pop that behind there a little bit more. And so you can take it a little bit, instead of just doing a V cut like that, you can go back and kind of put your blade against it a little bit and just pop that out a little bit more of an angle. See how much further? It's not just a very short V cut there. And then we're going to just round this off a little bit. That's it, okay? And again, You can do all kinds of stuff to make things pop out a little bit more. I can make this V-cut just a tiny bit deeper, and that will make it pop out again a little bit better. Let's do this side over here. It's just a matter of taking your time and looking at what needs to be removed. All right? So we're just going to take that little corner out a little further. All right, good. All right. Sorry that the video stopped me from time to time. All right, so we have that done. We actually have the heart finished. There's nothing more we need to do there, but it's a lot of cleanup right now and a little more depth to your piece. I'm going to get rid of these. If you don't get rid of the pencil marks, folks, it's going to show up through the paint, especially if you're just going to do a panda bear. You want to make sure all that stuff is gone. All right. Now, let's go back to the head. Here, how do I do the eyes? Very simply, a slant and like an L shape underneath. So how we do it is very simple. I try to figure out where the center is first, okay? And bigger eyes look cuter. I know on bears sometimes the smaller eye looks cuter. It all depends. But mine are always different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way at an angle. Okay? At an angle. And then I'll go over here at an angle. And I'll look at it and know it's way off. So let's try this again. Alright. I think that one's better. Alright. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to just go down and around like so, and I'm going to extend that line. Alright, so I extend that line and I do like a down, and I turn it a little bit like a not quite a C, but like an L shape. Alright, and same thing over here. I'm going to do that line pretty long, and I'm going to try to put that at the same height if I can. And we're going to come down and around and then just turn that corner there. So definitely one eye looks a heck of a lot better than the other. Alright, so I'm not sure about that. So let me take a look here real quick. Let me take care of something I'm not happy with here. Okay. So the thing we're going to do now is we're going to just push our knife in. And we're going to just scoop it up. Okay, just like so. Same thing over here. You're going to just put a line and you're going to scoop it out. We're going to redo the line. We're going to redo that eye. I just wanted to show you how to do that eye. See, you can almost see that eye start forming already. So once you get this where you're comfortable with it, where it is, now, I'm going to let me draw number. Alright, so we're going to do this again. We're going to bring this down, bring this across, and we're going to turn it. Alright, just like so. Same thing over here. That doesn't look right too. Something doesn't look right. If I make a mistake, there's no going back because of this being live. So let me just cut a little more off. Okay. Now let me cut a little bit more off there as well. Alright. Now we're going to take this and we're going to go down. This will be on YouTube later, folks. You're more than welcome to finish watching it there if you like. Okay. So let me bring this down around a little bit more. So let me spray it. What I use is a 50% water and 50% rubbing alcohol. Now, when the pandemic started, it was very hard to find the rubbing alcohol. I'm finding that there's a lot of it now in the store. And it really softens wood. So it's 50% water, 50%, 70% strength rubbing alcohol. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to just follow that line, actually on the outside of that line if I can, up to where I did that little brow. And I'm going to go on the inside and cut that out. And what that does, it didn't come out clean. So what I need to do is go back around again. There it goes. Alright, there's the eye. And then that little corner, I take that little triangular cut at the top and on the bottom, and that makes that thing look a little more rounded. Alright, so there's the eye. Alright, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to follow. What that does, it softens up the wood, especially if you're doing really small, intricate places like this. The only thing you have to remember if you're going to use this stuff, is the spray, is that you make sure that it's absolutely sharp when you do it. Otherwise, you're going to be tearing it. Alright? And some people say, well, will it crack on me? Well, sometimes it does when you use it, but if you use it sparingly, you should be okay. Okay, and I'm going to do that little corner down here a little bit again. Okay, so there's our bear face. Alright, and I'm going to take all this stuff off eventually, this hard stuff. Now, the last thing, a couple things we need to do, is how do you do the ears? Well, the ears are a little, they have a little bit, they're hollowed out, right? So what you need is a small little gouge. Now, as I was saying, I don't have many of these left. I only have 1 or 2 of these left, and then I have to order more. It might take a couple of weeks to get them from wherever I'm getting them. So if you happen to order a set of 3 of these or the set of 4, I do have the V-tool. I have plenty of those on hand, but the others, it's going to wait a little bit before you get them. So the first thing you want to do when you do this ear, you want to make sure that you have it as rounded as you want. Okay? Everywhere. And what we're going to do is, I usually put a little stop cut on the inside of the ear. Okay? When I cut, I'm going to show you on the outside how I cut. I leave it a little higher, and then I go in a little deeper, and then come back out. So that's what I'm doing in the inside here. I'm going deeper and then coming out. I'm not going straight across because I don't want to cut that ear off. And then I take my little gouge here and I start scooping it out. And I stay away maybe a 1/16 of an inch from the outside of the ear. And you really don't have to go in too far to give it the depth that you're looking to give it, because you're going to make it black anyway inside the ear. So once you make it black on the inside of the ear, it's going to look much deeper than it is anyway. So, okay, that's how you do the ear. Alright, now if it's not clean on the bottom, you just go back, take your knife, and shave it off a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to do the other ear. I have it as rounded as I want. There's a little bit of a corner there, so I'm going to just trim that off a little bit. And I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go in like this and come back out. I'm going to go in, and I'm coming back out. Alright? That way when I cut down with my little thing here, it should pop right out. See? Just like that. And you're staying away at least 1/16 of an inch from the outside. Now, that didn't come out completely clean. You don't want to pull it, and you don't want to try to get it out with the gouge. Just recut your line flush with the head. That's exactly what you're doing. So if you want to make it a little bit deeper, you can. And then I'm going to go back here with this little tool, and I'm going to try to scoop it out again. There you go. There you go. So the face is done. All right. So the last thing we need to do, and let me see how I did the feet. Oh, okay. This is it's kind of tricky, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, the outside of the foot. All right, let's take a look at the outside of the foot. Now, if you want to put somebody's name on here or something, you can do that. You can do that either with a Sharpie pen after you're done painting it, or you can carve it in like I did with the honey on the honey bear. You can do that as well. Whatever you want to do with this portion, you can. You know, if you're going to do it with a Sharpie pen, you may want to test, put a little bit of red paint on, however you're painting it here, put it on another piece of wood and see how the Sharpie, if it bleeds out or whatever. Usually it doesn't, but it all depends on the wood and stuff. So you want to kind of practice that on something before you give that a try. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the outline first. And then I do 3 little circles and 1 big one for the bottom part of the foot. So, and they all look a little different. So the first thing I do is I go about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch from the outside. And I do this all with the V-tool. And then I just do 1 little one here, 1 little one there, 1 little one here, and then 1 big one on the bottom. Okay? And we'll do the same thing over here. They're not going to look the same, but it is what it is. Okay? Now we have more to do. But I'm going to show you how I do the... so usually if you want to do the middle one first, then you know it's in the middle. Do a smaller one, another smaller one, and then one going across an oval. Now I'm going to do 1 foot just to save some time here for you. I take my hefty little V-tool again, alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that 1 little line, and I'm just using the very edge of the corner. I'm just trying to make it stick out a little bit, okay? See how I have that? Okay, so I'm just going very, very slightly around. There you go. Now I'll go down to the bottom. Now, usually I take my time with this because it is so sensitive to try to get this exactly right. And then I go around each of the little, and it's really hard for me to see it from where I'm at, so bear with me here. And notice I'm moving my carving around. I'm trying not to move my hand around as much as I am trying to move the carving around. Okay? And these are really tough to do. So what I do is I do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I try to match those up. Let me do it back here real quick, then I can see it. I don't even have my glasses on, so that doesn't help me either. Okay, so that's how you do it. I'm not going to do all 3 because it'll take too much time. But you do the bottom, do the other. Now if you want to, let me see how I did this. Yeah, you can leave it that way, and then when you go to paint it, you paint this black, and the toes black, or the pads of the feet black, and then just leave it the way it is. It looks fine. If you're going to paint the panda bear, it won't make any difference. Okay, so that's how you do the foot. You can, I'll do all 3 of those. I just did the one offline. It's just easier to see. So what I'm going to do up here first, I'm going to get rid of this hard stuff right here. And again, it's a matter of, oh, I didn't do his butt back here yet. So, oh, and his back part of his foot. So how you do the back part of the foot, let's just make a little line. Okay, here's the foot. And let's just make a line right there. Okay? Same thing here. We're going to just go from the line on the back, that corner that we made, and we're just going to bring this in a little bit. All this is taking your knife to the back side, a little bit at an angle, and just doing a nice big V cut. That's it. There's your foot. All right. Same thing over here. Nice big V cut. And you're going to do the other side. There you go. All right. Now, if you want to make this thing extend a little further, you can put a little notch here. And I'll do that just to show you can do that. Okay. That looks kind of cute. Why don't we do that? All right. That's the continuance of his arm. All right. I didn't do it on the others, but I'm just showing you can add that if you want to add a little extra to it. Then here, we're going to just round this off. And we're going to round this off. And remember, this portions are flat anyway, so it's not going to make that much difference. All right. Here, we're going to round this off and round this up here off. Okay, so let's bring this a little bit. We're going to put a little notch right at the end of the foot there, just like so, and we're bringing this around. Okay. Put a little notch here. Okay, right at that corner. And we're going to bring this up to the notch. And we're going to round this off a little bit more here. And you can round the head off a little bit more. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can go a little bit deeper here if you want. It does give it some, it does add to it if you do that. All right, so we've got pretty well everything done. I'm going to show you how to put because I actually put all this, they're all laying down here. To put all this in, I'll show you how to do it. It's no different than all my other bears. If you want to take a pencil and kind of draw which way to go on it, that's perfectly fine. Just remember, you want to take those pencil lines off, especially if you're doing the panda bear, because it will show through the paint. All right, there we go. Now I'm just shaping it a little bit more so it's not so blocky. And then remember, all this stuff has to come off, so I like to use a little bit longer knife and just kind of shave all that off. Now here, well, I need to kind of scoop that out a little bit more. Okay. That looks good. Let's shave some of this off, because you don't want any rough stuff on it, because if you have rough stuff on it, you're going to end up, and I know I sound repetitive, but it's going to show up darker when you paint your brown, if you're just doing brown. The white, you may have to put a couple of coats of white on, or a couple of coats of black, a couple of coats of brown. But if you do the brown, I would suggest you try to do at least 1 to 2 coats of the brown and to dilute it. You don't want it purely brown when you do it, because when you do that, you'll end up, you won't be able to see the wood through it, okay? You don't want it to look like a ceramic piece. All right, so let's just take one more thing here. We got to put the little claws in, and all that is your V-tool. So all I'm going to do is just go do a middle one, top one, bottom one. Okay, there you go. That's all that entails. The middle one, side one, upper one. That's it. All right, so it looks like he's holding on to that heart. And to do the, I usually have, if you look at this, it comes out and around this way, okay, because this comes down, this comes down, and comes down and around, all right? And so it's kind of all flowing together. So if you look at it, no matter where you start, it flows to the back. Start here, it flows down to the neck. So what I usually do is I usually go around the face first. All right, so let me bring this up and around a little bit, and this here. Alright. So, from here up, I usually just go right to, and I kind of work my way around that snout. And this does not get touched with the V-tool. Okay? Just so it looks like a radiant, like a little sunbeam here. It's just how I do it. Everybody does it a little bit different. Okay? And you want to just be very careful when you do this. Alright? That's how I usually start. And then I kind of blend it in. And that goes up to the eye. And I kind of just give myself an idea where I'm going with this. Okay? And then I fill it in a little bit later. I always work towards the edge. It's hard to work from the edge out because it's in the way. Okay? Because you won't be able to get a good tight fit in there. And so I work again to the bottom. And then I fill the middle stuff in after that, okay? It's usually how I usually do it. So, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'm coming down around the back of the head, the cheek. And then you take little strokes in there. Alright. Now I'm going to go out this way a little bit. And I'm going to start heading up his head here. And again, I'm going out like a radiant. Like from here going out. Like a sunbeam. Okay? Alright. This keeps it from looking similar from one side to the other. Alright? And you see how nice and sharp this is. If it's nice and sharp, it's a pleasure to do this. If it's not sharp, it's going to be tearing it apart because I'm actually going across the grain, all right? And when you end up going across the grain, you get a nice clean cut. That's what you want. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, I'm going to post these. Eventually, I'll take down some of the Christmas stuff on my online store, and then I'll add those to it for Valentine's Day. And you want to try to crisscross a little bit if you can, just like I did there. That just adds to the feature. Alright, and alright, there you go. They don't take too long to do it once you get the hang of how the hair goes or the fur goes. And I won't do this whole back thing, but you get the idea. It's just a matter of flowing. Now when you do the ears, I always go up towards the ear. Alright, like I'm looking how this flows and I'm going right along with it. You don't want to go too deep, and you can stay away from the very edge. You don't need to go all the way to the edge with it. Alright, just leave it the way it is, because you don't want to be nicking stuff out either. And then I kind of just flow it all together towards the back. Alright, I flow it all back together. Hello, Heather, Heather, Heather. I forgot to call you the other night, Heather. I'm sorry. Let me know when you get that mail that I sent you how many weeks ago. I assumed you didn't get anything yet. Alright, so anyway. Heather is my niece. In Canada. I'm probably embarrassing her, so I'll be quiet. Anyway. Alright. Now, alright, so that's how the face is done. This is how you can take care of the, you know, how to put the hair on. And you can go back over it and make it tighter if you want. Alright. Now now that that's done, I'm not going to do the rest of the head because it's redundant to constantly do the same thing. But I'm going to show you how to do the paws, and that's it. So the paw, you want things to look like it's going in separate directions, different directions, right? So here, we're just going to go do the same thing. We're going to do little strokes, and then we're just going to bring it back. You want it kind of in a different direction if you can do it from one to the other, you know, to give it some contrast. But it's not always possible to do that. Okay, so here I just did the one paw. See how I have it coming down and around? And same thing here. You want it to go up and down a little bit. And then you want to just keep going and blending it and work your way backwards. Just like so. See? And then when you get over here, you just kind of blend it in with the neck. Kind of have those two meet again right there. And then you're going to bring it down and around. So when you do this, you're going to bring it down away from the foot. Alright, just like so. And, you know, when you get to the center here, you should try to mesh it together a little bit. Whoops. Now, see, that's a teachable moment. See, right here, it was starting to pull. I mean, I can't really get a good... I'm going against the grain there. So what you want to do is turn it around, or turn your tool around, and then go the opposite way. Alright? And that's all you got to do, folks. Kind of just make your own little thing here. Your own design. You can make this as defined as you want. Same thing with the head. You want to just bring that down as well. And just match everything together. See how nice and easy it is to do it with a V-tool? It's just so handy dandy. Handy dandy. It's this past week I'm working on that fence line. I should get some pictures up to show you the progress. It's going to be a very slow one. I have somebody coming on Thursday to help me make sure all the equipment I bought will fit the tractor and stuff that I need. I bought a post hole digger, used stuff. I don't buy new stuff with that. So, alright, so you get the idea, folks, how this works. And then painting is not a big deal. If you want to paint the panda bear, either way, you can do it brown, like this, or white, and the panda bear. So I hope you enjoyed this little bear, and I hope that you'll find a lot of enjoyment doing so. I'll see what I can come up with next week, folks. I hope that you enjoyed it, and hey, we'll see what we can come up with, and we'll have another, hopefully have another class next week. If I don't have a class, I might just teach you some of the sharpening techniques that I use here. Alright, with how to use a strop and how to use my buffing wheel and wheels. So, yeah, I'll figure something out for next week. Alright, folks, take care, God bless, and be careful and be safe this week. Bye-bye.